I said natural stupidity cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. AI has limitations, and while we are all talking
AI has taken over the humans, and I actually believe it.
skill will be removed to a great extent. And what may remain is talent. Trying to understand the originality becomes even more relevant now in the era of AI. There's this Japanese ikigai principle, correct?
Correct. Got it.
And that's something that the inclusive world will need to now accommodate. So this will also have to be disrupted in some way, because I was just saying that everybody is looking at instant moksha. Testimonials to tell us that life beyond cancer is very beautiful.
Information.
In one of my recent talks, I was talking about artificial intelligence versus natural stupidity. I said natural stupidity cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
So AI has limitations, and while we are all talking AI, and AI is coming in a very big way to solve a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
But at the end of it, it's also about a change. It's also about a change. And when Stephen Hawking looked at it, and he said from limited memory AI, which Elon Musk is now doing, to jumping towards theory of mind, which I think, if I'm not wrong, Blake Lemoine has been put on a gardening leave in 2022 because he's already cracked it in Google. So it's already coming in. So what you thought is going to happen 10 years from now is already going to happen, has happened yesterday. And so things are going to move faster than what we imagine. Roles, jobs, and our own participations are going to change. So how are we going to reframe this new world and readapt to it and accommodate ourselves into it and yet be relevant is going to be interesting for all of us.
I actually saw a movie in which the AI has taken over the humans, and I actually believe it. Because I think I saw recently there was a website where there was no model. It was an AI face, and she was on every outfit. So, like, it has taken away from the lot of people who are in the modeling industry. And I don't know, I just believe AI will take over humans.
So this is what Stephen Hawking was saying, that when it moves from theory of mind to self-aware AI, consciousness comes into machines. Is the time that transitions are going to happen, and it's a new world that's going to be created there. He was worried about it at that time. Do I have answers? I don't. I'm just sharing. But what I'm saying is I'm taking it back to 1890s when Tagore met with Einstein. And they both spoke very philosophically. Imagine the beauty of if somebody could actually go back and read the text between the conversations of two great legend Nobel laureates, one on philosophy and the other one on science. And Tagore spoke about a world, Einstein asked him, how would it be when you look at a world which is independent of reality and humanity? So that's the world he was talking about when you're looking at AI. And Tagore said, what use would it be of if there would be no humanity? To have a world of reality without humanity.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was also thinking when we were talking about it. At the end of the day, AI is also generated by humans. AI wouldn't exist on its own. Even if we're creating websites, even if we're creating or using AI, there is a brain behind it as to how to make it work. For example, you're putting in a prompt. If the prompt is not put right by the humans, it is going to give you, it's not going to give you what you want from it.
Having said that, the reality is that in the next 10 years, the word skill will be removed in a great way.
Absolutely.
Skill will be removed to a great extent. And what may remain is talent. So humans' relevance to trying to be original and trying to understand the originality becomes even more relevant now in the era of AI.
Yeah. I think this is something that I've learned about being relevant with originality is because we are in the social media field and we do create a lot of content based on that. Because I mean, I've understood that there are a lot of people. Now, this is like more on relevancy, where there are thousands of people creating content, and there are, say, three of them that outshine themselves amongst the thousand, is only because they have their originality. The others are getting influence and probably straightforward copying what's being done and thinking that that's going to make them reach the kind of heights that others are. But I don't think that's true, because I feel like those three people have created such something around them that is original, is them, and is directly connecting them to their audience. But if there's an X person who's trying to do exactly what this person is doing without any originality of their own, and are not able to connect to the audience, and only doing it for the sake of doing it, and probably wanting what's driving them is the want to reach there or reach that particular height. But I think the reason they're not able to get there is because they don't have their originality. So I think that's with social media, without AI, the perspective of originality is existing for the last 2-3 years already, because there are a lot of people who want to create
There's a lot of
content.
clutter there out
Yeah,
there. There's
a
a lot of
lot. There's
clutter
a
out
lot
there.
of information, a lot of things happening. There are like 90, like for example, if there are 90 content pieces, say 80 of them might be same, but that one stands out, and one is called the first, reel that is influencing the others, is because there is something new, something original in that one particular content piece. So I think originality is something that people are accepting. And like you said, like careers are, there are vast options of careers now, because people are ready to accept what they are originally. Like nobody wants to fall. Like if, for example, if I don't want to say, I don't want to study that much, hence I don't want to become XYZ. But I know that I have something in my creative field. I know that's my passion. That's how originally I will want to function. If I do something, I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. Like there are a lot of people who keep their passion away from their professional life, but there are a lot of people who would want to keep it the same way because they find it, and I'm saying extreme passion, extreme professionalism. So I think a lot of people are accepting themselves as who they are and ready to own up to it.
Sure, yeah, I think, and there's this Japanese ikigai principle, correct?
Correct.
Just yeah, what you're good at and what you
What?
like and
Yeah.
what you. I think finally it's about having your inner self, and I think for me today, every day I wake up to try and see what's my original self, what I feel like, what is it that I want to do, whether it's a drug device, whether it's related to patients, whether it's this that. At the end of it, I keep telling people, don't try to become another Vishal. You are
Yeah.
be yourself and look at what you're good at, and that could define you better than you trying to force fit yourself into somebody else's shoes.
For sure. And I think that's what's going to bring the best out of each individual.
Creativeness among a large group of people. Like, because if you create, imagine like there cannot be another Rishita, as in like with the same mind. You might have a same thought, but you wouldn't like think of it, because I think it's said in the universe, like even if I'm thinking the same, there are like multiple um possible things that could have happened. Imagine if I want to move this, but in the other world, I'm really not moving it. So there are like multiple things that keep happening. So I feel in the end, you have to be different from others so that the creativity keeps on going. And I feel then maybe the AI cannot take us over.
I don't know. His Holiness told me something very nice when I interacted with him. He said, an idea comes to you, not from you.
Yeah.
Not from you.
Correct. Got it.
You're not the creator of the idea. It's reaching out to 10 people at the same time. So
Absolutely.
when Newton got the apple, he saw the laws of gravity. When Steve Jobs saw it, he gave us.
Yeah, there's a thing like, but it was
Yeah.
not the first time the apple
Fell.
fell from
But
the
apple is an
tree.
apple, correct? Now I'm just saying the perspective that you're going to look at can be different for the same thing,
Absolutely.
and that's something that the inclusive world will need to now accommodate, to open up perspectives for the same problem statement, for the same thing. There are going to be perspectives.
I
There are
think
going to be
basically, like, I think people need to not be afraid of thinking out loud with what their perspective is. A lot of people, I think this I'm talking in a more younger generation where, if there are like 10 people sitting in a group and 9 of them have the same thought process, and that one has a different, that one person will automatically think that his perspective is wrong.
So for my thing to look at this is saying that oftentimes we say think out of that box. Who defines that box? Correct?
Yeah.
So this will also have to be disrupted in some way by us breaking the myth of saying that who defines these boxes.
Absolutely.
For somebody to think out of that box is also going to be relevant for us to understand. as we talk about breaking and thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
So I believe that the next disruptions are going to happen from unknown corners, from areas, and I think it will be because of free thinking, and it will be because of
Free will.
that we are going to be able to achieve that next disruption. And unless it is going to be useful for humanity, there's no value for us creating junk that's going to create redundancy, or if it's for entertainment. I'm just saying, whatever be it, it has to serve humanity in some way. We don't have to take a very absolute high philosophical high note on it, but I'm just saying, even on a basic level, if it can help a small bit of people get entertained, reduce stress, improve quality of life, I mean, we're making a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Mm.
think AI, if you use it in a right way, and it, like you said, helps humans in a certain way. For example, if there's 100-page Excel, and if it's helping you not go through the headache and stress of actually manually doing it and doing it on your own, I think that's a great smart work happening, because it is important for something to finally step in and help you do these things easily, because it does, like, for example, imagine those 100 pages you do and then you still end up with something wrong.
I interacted with a student some time back who was told by his college that while you still have 2 years left in your academic year, you've completed your curriculum, so you can go and do what you want now. So I'm saying the future of education is changing.
Yeah.
Correct, because at the end of it, if these are the things that the education system wants you to do as a baseline, and beyond that it wants to allow him creative freedom, to allow him to use that knowledge, there's no point in holding him for another 2 years and telling him keep learning, because the curriculum has mandated it and the government has decided it.
Correct.
I think the future of this would have to be a little more open in terms of helping them understand how they're going to be able to contribute and use that knowledge that they're going to acquire, than just hoarding knowledge all through their lives and one sudden day say just use all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also without destructing the force of nature. I mean,
Yeah.
do something without destructing the force of nature.
You know, Isita, the beauty of this somewhere for us in the next few years more relevant would be we've destroyed nature enough in capitalism. Okay. So as we go towards a more conscious kind of green consciousness, we would need to take this onus. And I keep quoting that example of the Sri Lankan forest commissioner who said that before the tsunami, weeks and days before, the rabbits and deers had cleared the place, the dolphins had cleared the place, all of them came to know.
Yeah,
It was
they
only the humans who were
humans.
watching that wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's because we're getting disconnected from nature.
Nature. Yeah.
Because the inner noise is getting louder. Okay. And that noise, the more it gets louder, the more we're going to get disconnected from the fine frequencies of the silence of nature. And that's why somewhere in this entire thing of technology, AI, all of this, I still believe that there will be that time that, nothingness, not doing anything, boredom is going to be a great important aspect of life,
Absolutely.
which is going to be relevant
Yeah.
and should be incorporated into curriculums, into activities, into lifestyles, so that you enjoy boredom, enjoy nothingness, and also keep your sanity in that way balanced, and don't trouble nature, because if everything has to be used, then you'll have to go on chasing nature and utilize it. But
Yeah, I think I
sometimes
read one sentence on the internet like nobody is rushing on this planet other than the humans. Everyone is at peace, and I'm meaning the animals, the non living objects. It's just the humans that are rushing,
Yeah.
and they're only mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
Yeah.
perfect to be, if we think from that perspective.
this is
So,
also a good book which I remember as advised by the former Chief Justice of India, Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya, told me. He referred a book to me called The Secret Life of Trees. It's a very beautiful book in which they talk about how these trees communicate and live their life in the forest. It's a very beautiful book to just as just for interesting read.
I mean, it sounds interesting, because I feel like a lot of, like she said, like a lot of living things. When you, like, I recently went to uh, like Sri Lanka, and we decided not to go to the city life. We decided to go to the depth
Yeah.
of it, the smaller towns, the smaller um, like villages where there are don't even probably use like credit cards or debit cards. You really have to work just with cash. And we spent like 7 8 days there in nature. Like the beach is 5 minutes walk away. The grass, like I mean, sorry, the garden is like 7 minutes walk, and everywhere you go, you have to walk. And it's just you really do touch grass. You touch the real power of nature because I genuinely felt energized. There was
Yeah.
a feeling because when I came back, for the first 1 week, you just don't want to, like, you just feel so disconnected from everything else there because you're you just really feel connected to the nature. You realize the power of nature because I think a lot of people now, there was a lot of like earlier we used to go for a lot of camps. Like I used to go for a lot of camps, nature camps, adventure camps, which was in like villages and the small parts of the countries. And we used to learn over there. Like over there used to be like 45 minutes where you have to spend alone time, me time with a book. You need to journal, you need to write about your entire day, and it was taught to you how to. And you can't do that on a daily day. You find it like it's a chore to connect
Yeah.
with yourself. Like, oh god, I need to sit with myself for 5 minutes and write about what I did. It feels like something that you need to do, but once you get into the habit of doing it on a daily, because there we were not allowed to use phones, we were not allowed to use any gadgets. In fact, we were not even allowed to connect with our family members through their phones. You're just there for those 7 days with the people around you and the activities you're doing. And that made me realize at a very young age that these are things that you will cherish once you're out of it. You will want to be in that nothingness of just you in the nature, with probably hearing the birds chirp. You're watching the sunset and writing about what happened the entire day. And that's when you really feel the most powerful because you're getting to know yourself with nothing around you. And I think that should be, like you said, a part of the curriculum should be introduced in a way that it is important to know yourself with nobody around you. Because I really believe that you can be different people. Like with your friends, you will be a different person. With your, not
Yeah.
different person, but you will be in a different zone. With your,
Mindset.
yeah, with your professional setting, you will be slightly
Yeah.
different. With your family, you will be slightly different. But oftentimes, we don't know how we are alone. Which version of ourselves will we be when we're sitting alone in nothingness? And you're lost because you don't know what questions to ask to yourself. And I feel like that should be taught at a very early age.
I spent a few days in Australia in one of the forests in the meditation areas, spending alone my time alone, and it was wonderful. Journaling, spending time, just being. That's because in today's era, I think that's so. I wrote a note. I'll share that with you all, and I think maybe that's something that we can circulate through this thing
Yeah.
and look at.
Definitely.
Written something on boring yoga, on how to make yoga boring and for instant moksha, because I was just saying that everybody is looking at instant moksha, and
Yeah.
so through the meditations that I was doing, and I was having no guide, I was just by myself in a forest spending time in Australia, and writing these notes, and I came up with this thing on boring yoga for instant moksha. I'll
Oh.
share that script with you,
Yes.
uh, just to help people with simple visualizations on connecting with themselves.
Yeah.
And I realized that it's getting so complex for people to connect with themselves.
Very.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I created a simple technique which I found useful in the midst of nature, because that's something that I was able to do it. I'll share those notes with you all. Just look at how you would want to use it to spread the word of something as simple as that, to be utilized to connect with yourself daily through daily simple breathing. You don't have to go and tuck yourself in a corner for that. It could be a part of your daily routine life where you connect with yourself. That would be more meaningful. And yes, as in when you get a chance, go take a bigger break. But it's only these smaller breaks that help you understand that you should take the bigger break.
Yeah. And I think it gets to a point where you crave such breaks, because I don't remember who I was telling this to, but I think now traveling has become such a thing for me where I want to live like a local to whichever place I go to. Because that hard and fast traveling of today this is your itinerary, get up in the morning. I mean, it's fun on some days, but I think on a general note, for me, it's become more of a slow living when you're, because you're going there to take a break. Why are we hassling so much? A lot of factors might come in. Okay, yes, you're spending a lot to go there. Okay, yes, you're here only for 10 days, but you're not realizing that what's the point of coming back with after those 10 days, not remembering what you've done those 10 days. I think like I've reached that point where wherever I want to go, I think it's about understanding every part of that place. And I think that only came because I started giving importance to those 30 minutes of me time.
There was a nice book I was gifted in Australia by a friend, which was titled Things That You See When You Slow Down. And I was recently meeting Sadhguru in the Isha Ashram in Coimbatore, and while I was walking in that path, I saw a bullock cart with a few people sitting, and behind that was a bus, and I took that photo. And that captured the actual reality of things that you see when you slow down. I was
Yeah.
walking, there were some few people on a bullock cart, and then there
Yeah.
were a few on a bus.
Correct.
And it just showed three dimensions of life.
I have a drop the filter question for you. What is that one myth about cancer you want to break?
That cancer is death.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest myth, that grab, that picture, that message that you give, that cancer, and you see some 1980 ka movie ka film that iske baad khatam. I think that's the biggest myth. Today, people who are standing as living examples of victory on cancer are testimonials to tell us that life beyond cancer is very beautiful. Cancer is a fork that has come in your life to sometimes take a decision and help you look at a new perspective of life.
I think also maybe to value life a little more.
In whatever, it comes for certain learnings, it comes for certain things.
I feel it's just like an obstacle.
Yeah.
Like the way we have in our lives, it's like for them.
I also had a perspective, and I think I want to close with that thing because there was some idiotic politician who said that these children get cancer because of bad karma. So I wrote a nice op-ed on this, and I'll share that link with you, which was called Karmic Carcinogen. Is karma a carcinogen? And I kind of did a rebuttal. I did a rebuttal on that, and also tried to argue a point and say, if karma is a carcinogen, bad karma is a carcinogen. I had my point to say that there were a lot of sages and saints who have got these cancers, who have actually said that they took these illnesses from their devotees and other negatives of this world to make this world a better place. So I was sharing on a lighter note that these young angels are taking a lot of the negatives from this world, which the wrong people of this world, the evil, are creating by destroying environment, by destroying this planet, by doing evil, wrong, and other things. So my perspective was karmic carcinogen, for example, because childhood cancers are traumatic for families to go through. So why should you connect something like that, something as divine as a child who's going through such a difficult time? You're connecting with something negative. So I wrote this op-ed just to kind of break that myth and talk about saying that these little angels are here to come and take the suffering of several wrongdoers who are doing bad as adults or as people who are mature. The point I'm again driving here is sometimes I think cancer word is complex. The bad we attach to it, the more we're creating a negative perspective around it. And bad could be the last spectrum, which I said was death. But I think overall I've shifted the entire thing, and hopefully I'll be releasing that book of mine soon on Heal Your Life, Heal Your Cancer, which all talks about positives of life and how these people won the journey to become an example and then transform others' life, which is what we call paid forward.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's a very beautiful thought and statement that you're trying to spread across the world, because I think it's important how there are a lot of people who get cancer, and I don't think it's all about bad karma, because you can't really, I don't think people can say that about other people just like that, because I don't think they're that well informed about. I think it's just a statement that's made in the air because they think it doesn't make an impact.
And I think there's something called as a collective karma also, correct? The earth is doing at the end of it. There's a collective karma that the room is doing right now, doing all of this. So my perspective, it was to just kind of write a rebuttal to tell that don't make such loose statements
Yeah.
and without understanding the depth of it or the science of it, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's a very
I think that's a very important and a great
yeah.
note to come to the end of this podcast.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here. I think it was really, really insightful and we had a
Namaste.
lot of fun.
How was your experience?
No, I think I don't. It's been long pending me coming here, and I kept thinking that I'll figure out a day, and today was the day.
Yeah.
I have always believed, universe has a particular time, a date
Definitely.
For everything.
for choosing things.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I believe that this approach of the universe, this is a very good approach. So I loved it, and I love experimenting, learning new things. Like I learned a lot because otherwise I've not been on a podcast generally for a long time now. I haven't been on a podcast at all. There've been some 2-3 news channels have been telling me to come and do a podcast. I've been refusing. I've just been avoiding this whole conversations, but it's fun.
Yeah. I think it's nice to have like certain conversations. I think for us
Yeah.
personally, it's about learning from whoever comes on.
Whenever we interact, no, Kanika, we all learn.
Yeah.
Because we are exchanging knowledge, and
Yeah.
like this kind of a thing has a larger intent to it.
Correct.
Correct. It was
Absolutely.
just not a casual one. It had an intent that you want to bring out something out of this and then share it to the world. And it'll be interesting to see what after you share to the world, what happens out of it.
Yeah, I think that's the important part.
Yeah, and let's follow it up. Tell me how things come out, and then we can follow up, make something more as an interesting follow up on more difficult topics.
Yeah, I think maybe like have an interaction with the audience as to what they would like to know more about and maybe get to the depths of that.
I'm very keen on taking on tough topics like manifestations, spiritualism.
Oh yeah, I think that
looking
would be
at
very fun.
Understanding, because I'm being real when I talk about all of this. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I want to take some of those complex topics, which I feel are like on spiritualism, science and spiritualism. How do we connect the two, and where does it go into? Or things which people would want to debate on,
Correct.
which are not very easy to just randomly connect. Like we
Yeah.
went deep, correct, into some of the things like karma as a carcinogen.
Yeah.
It's like, which is not just a joke.
It's not a conversation you have on a daily basis.
Yeah, and since you told me end it on that note, I just thought I'll spin it and say that how crazy can it get when I fought with that guy, and I said, how can you dare say that karma is a carcinogen?
Correct.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I think there needs to be a lot of people who stand up and say certain things at the right time, because for how long are we going to let people just make statements because they feel like it and because they can make those statements?
And there's a new word for it, free will.
Yeah, I mean,
I just
a
hate
lot
that.
of
Use the same
Yeah.
same free will and bring logic
absolutely
and create a debate.
Exactly.
correct, because but I also feel like you need to sometimes. I feel like I come from a thing that I will take the first step and make that rebuttal and I will fight for the first 2-3 times. But I feel like there are some people who now take it on them to prove themselves right at any cost.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
And I feel
I
like
mean,
that's
to each his own.
sometimes. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I come from a perspective where sometimes you know that person is wrong and they're going to take it to another level, where I'm not talking about this particular example, but in general, a lot of people want to just be correct. I feel like some of them are not open to the idea that they might not be right and to accept it.
Okay. So in relationship, this is getting too complex, especially.
Yes.
Okay, so I was sharing with my friend today morning, and I was telling her, and she was arguing about her boyfriend and her issue, and she's trying to separate. The break off and whatever. So she was sharing. She's a very dear friend, so she shares everything. She's chatting with me and saying, "Vishal, yaar, ye ho raha hai," and these are the things. And I was sharing with her my perspective on a particular argument they both have. I said, "Look, I'm biased towards you because you're my friend, so I don't care what the other person is right or wrong, but I would still love to tell you that look at it in this way." Now, this kind of a thing, when something is right or wrong, from a perspective point of view of each person's, I believe some of them want to stick to it because of stubbornness.
Absolutely.
Okay, when there's no logic to it,
Yeah,
but
for
they're
sure.
stubborn. They're
Yeah,
saying they just
we
want to
are
stick
right.
to it. Yeah. Now that becomes a part of your psychological imprint. That, and if you convert that into an habit, eventually what you become out of that is a disaster. You make a disaster out of yourself because of this.
And yeah, I mean, there's no coming out of it.
All of this.
Yeah.
So that's an important learning for us. I'm just sharing that that's something we all should look at, that sometimes this is a part of relationships, this is a part of work life balance today, and this is a part of work environments today.
Absolutely. I think for us personally, it's about like social media as well, because a lot of people come comment whatever they like to. There are a lot of people who take their like time out of their busy schedule to write paragraphs which
Paragraphs
are all
about
hate
us
related.
and they don't know us.
Us
Do
and
rant.
yeah, which
Like in
I
general
mean,
other
we
people
fought,
also.
we like replied to a couple in the first, but then we said there's really no
Yeah,
point
there's
because
no
people will come, and these are
point.
not comments coming from a good place. You know what they're saying is wrong, because in no perspective, unless it's their perspective, is it going to be right? Or people who are supporting such comments, and it's not a perspective we would like to accept or feel like, okay, this might be correct way to approach it, because it is not. In the most blatant world that we live in, it is not the right approach for a lot of things. But I just feel like sometimes those are not battles you choose to fight.
I fully agree, and I'm telling you all, don't do those also, because the way the things are changing today, every fly has a voice.
Correct.
Somebody random, because technology has democratized itself so much that you have Trump on one side randomly rattling.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just rattling, just
So-
deciding.
I can talk about this for hours.
Correct. So I'm saying, so like people, some of my juniors who came and asked me in the office that they're saying, यार विशाल कुछ ऐसा गड़बड़ हो गया है, क्या करना है? I told him कुछ भी करो, सब ठीक है आज के ज़माने में. ऐसे जाके वो बोर्डरूम में चिल्ला लो ऐसे.
Yeah, it's
Because I don't know whether the rules exist anymore, because the world order
Absolutely.
is changing.
you make a
Yeah.
reel about it, you'll get viral if you shout in some classroom.
Correct. So so that's the kind of thing that we are living in, and it's extreme. Correct.
Absolutely.
So how is the new order going to come? In what way are we going to bring in the new order? And I think there is going to be a lot of interesting philosophies we can blend in from Buddhism, from various aspects, and bring in contrarian views.
Yeah.
It's good, and we can't stop this now.
You cannot, which is why, like, I think I really believe in this, that you choose the battles you would like to fight, and I don't think every battle is important.
And if something is coming out of it, if something transformational is coming out of it,
Makes
and
sense.
then we use it. And so I'm quite excited when I get, so me and my chairman have debates. We have like tough debates between us, and we are very vocal. We vocal about our differences and our agreements, and we are like so vocal that people feel embarrassed when we talk, that we just don't give a damn. In front of the board, we both talk. We just talk, and everybody's like looking at us and just look at these two guys. Correct. So I'm just saying, so so it's that cool. I'm saying, why do we have to bother about being apologetic about what you are?
Absolutely.
So it's being unapologetic and just saying, be the way you are. So I'm just saying that if there's something that you can bring out of this, out of these kind of conversations, then you chase it. If it's something that you feel you don't want to waste your energy on, leave it at that.
The best approach.
Yeah, I think that's it for today's episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I think we had a lot of fun.
Or is it? I should say. Thank you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you all next Friday.